Joining us right now, Sudhanshu Pandey, the Food Secretary himself. Mr. Pandey, great to have you on the show. First, help us understand whether or not food inflation you think has peaked out, or is there more to come?
Food inflation, if you compare it with many other countries, is still very much under control in India. If you look at the prices of cereals vis-a-vis many countries, and including the edible oil prices and some of the other commodities, India is still better placed. And this is primarily because of very timely steps that government took, including rationalization of import duty in case of edible oils, as well as ensuring availability, putting stock limits on certain things. Though these are not normal steps that any government would like to take, but keeping the overall situation, which is globally, COVID followed by the geopolitical situation, which led to disruption of the supply line, production in various countries. Government of India has taken a number of steps which have still been able to help contain food inflation in particular.
Right. So it's not just the, the geopolitical crisis, but also the unprecedented heat wave, which is impacting the agri output. So just wanted to understand really, where things stand when it comes to it. Mr. Piyush Goyal on May 24th in Davos said that wheat production could dip by 8%. And there's already a tilt towards rice when it comes to distribution. Are our buffer stocks intact, sir?
One thing perhaps you should keep in mind that even for wheat, it is not the complete ban on export. It's a regulation which has been introduced to ensure availability of wheat within the country in reasonable quantity, because it's a one crop a year. Now the next crop will come only in the month of April, May next year. Till then, country has to feed the entire population, and the impact of climate change due to heat wave is clearly visible in the reduced production. But this is not only the case in India. In many countries, the heat wave has affected production of wheat, and therefore government had to take certain steps, but it has still kept the window open for supplies to countries which are vulnerable from the point of view of the food security and the need, and government is taking those decisions. In terms of buffer stock, we have ensured that the both buffer stocks are above the requirement, rice as well as wheat, and therefore we had to do some rationalization in the distribution ratio, which we have done immediately after the mandi procurement got reduced, and now we are in a comfortable position.
Good morning, sir. This is Nayantara joining in a press conference exactly nearly 24 hours ago. You did clarify that the measures that have been taken for sugar is not banning exports, but just capping exports, because sugar production is also now at an all-time high, how we have overtaken Brazil. So now if I were to look at the measures of what has been announced for sugar as well as for wheat, what will be the impact on the retail price? How will it benefit the consumers? Have you done that maths?
One thing is very clear: the availability of stocks within the country is as important as export commitment. So as I explained earlier, if you compare it with the 16-17, this year the projected export of sugar is going to be almost 200 times more, and this is something which is unprecedented, but has been possible because of highest ever production of sugar cane, and this year we have in fact gone ahead of Brazil in terms of production, and our production is likely to be a little over 39 million ton. So this is what looks like, and therefore our exports are also highest ever projected to be in the range of about 10 million ton. And after catering for the highest ever exports, we still need about 2.5 to 3 months requirement from September onward, because at that time the new sugar season crushing doesn't start, and the previous stocks are on the verge of being exhausted. Therefore, we need about 60 to 62 lakh metric ton sugar in the domestic stocks to cater for 2.5 months supplies within the country, and this is what is going to keep the prices under check.
So, sir, if you're going to need that stock beyond 2.5 months, the question is, that's when we will enter the festive season. The wedding season will also not be far away. We know what happens with sugar consumption there, the mithais, the halwais, the sweets that we all enjoy. So should Indians brace themselves for mithai costing a lot more? What's going to be the impact on the festive season when the consumption is also much higher?
This I am saying at the end of the season. Today we have enough stocks. We have stocks for all these months from June onward. So June, July, August, September, 4 months you can add another 100 lakh metric ton of sugar, followed by another 60 lakh metric ton of sugar. So around 150 to 160 lakh metric ton of sugar is still available in the stocks. So therefore, the festive season is going to be good. We won't have any shortage, and we will have prices in check. This is why we have actually put a cap of around 100 lakh metric ton of exports.
Now, this is a government that is committing to doubling farmer income. So when prices are going up, it is also a way the rural economy is turning around. Then why intervene on behalf of customers? These are ad hoc measures in such export times.
Our government has been actually subsidizing input costs also. The fertilizer subsidy bill, as you have seen, has gone up substantially. Our government has also been doing all-time high procurement on MSP for wheat as well as rice. This is all keeping in view the interest of the farmers. But when it comes to consumers also, then farmers are also consumers, and therefore their interests have to be looked after, and there has to be a good balance between the two. Government is very much alive to the interest of farmers, and every possible step is being taken to support farmers. The sugarcane areas, as you have seen, last 2 years, it's almost 99.9% payment that has been made to farmers. This year, the sugarcane procurement and related payment to farmer is going to be almost 1,10,000 crore, which is highest ever and much more than what we generally do for wheat. So from every perspective, it is balance which is important. We look after the interest of farmers, but at the same time also look after the overall economy and the interest of consumers.
So against this backdrop of inflation, can you tell us what will happen to agri commodities? Prices are also fixed for sugar before crushing season.
See, for every crop season, Ministry of Agriculture does the revision of the MSP, and CACP undertakes that expert exercise. For the sugarcane also, the FRP is revised. Last year also FRP revision did happen, and that is why payment outgo to farmer has gone up. So this is a continuous exercise which keeps into account all relevant factors, and therefore I am confident that the farmers' interest as well as the crops MSP decision would continue to be as smooth as it has been in the past.
Right. Once again, sir, the big question for our viewers, is the worst behind us when it comes to inflation? And I think, just every viewer and all of us here in the studio also would like to know.
I think this is what even you can see on the edible oil, which is one of the largest imported quantity in terms of the food items, and Government of India has made zero duty and zero agri cess on both soya bean and sunflower oil, which are imported in large quantities. So this is going to give relief to consumers at the end of the day. And also the mission, the palm oil mission, the mustard mission, and mission for sunflower is on anvil, and this is going to support the farmer as well as domestic production to contain the prices.
Right. And edible oil prices, given that they're up almost 130 to 169%, and we're competing against, the world for edible oil, given the waiver of import duties, sir, when it comes to agri infrastructure cess, can you tell us how is it that we're ensuring enough supply? For example, there's already a dip in sunflower oil.
We are actually, we have adequate stocks even now available, and inflows of sunflower oil have continued despite all challenges, though a quantity has been little reduced, and that is what gets reflected in the prices, but the availability has been ensured by the industry, and this is what you can see on the shelves. There are many countries where the availability has become one of the major issues. At least that is not the situation in India.
Okay, so let's see how this pans out. The official inflation forecast, of course, from the Reserve Bank of India will only be known in June. This is the government looking at measures to rein in food inflation. Thank you, sir, for giving us time today on this edition of The Market.